We recently received the following interesting comment on our channel. Let me read it to you. Here in South India, I'm not making this up. It's a huge game of having one's cake and eating it too. Be Christian, have a Hindu name, exploit reservation as much as possible. Where are the verses in the Bible which ask people not to live double lives or just lie to cheat the government? This raises a question many people quietly wonder about. Why do some Christians ignore or bend the rules in their own sacred text? In this example, the commenter points out how some Christians in South India adopt Hindu names or present themselves as Hindus to take advantage of government reservation benefits reserved for lower caste Hindus. Why compromise the Bible's teachings about honesty and integrity to gain an advantage? The answer is surprisingly simple. Christians know many of the Bible's morals are outdated and even harmful, so they either stopped following them or revised them to fit modern standards and convenience. This adaptation to the Indian system is just another layer of such renovation of Christianity. Modern Christians don't ignore the parts of the Bible because they are especially rebellious. They do it because literal obedience is unworkable or immoral today. Christianity keeps evolving to survive. To understand why adaptation is necessary, we need to look at the Bible itself. Its rules are often incompatible with modern life. Slavery in the Bible. The Old Testament of the Bible regulates slavery in Exodus chapter 21. The New Testament of the Bible tells slaves to obey masters in Ephesians 6:5. So, slavery is encouraged in the Bible. But today, Christians claim slavery is wrong, so they treat these Bible passages as invalid and immoral. Genocide and ethnic violence. The biblical God commands to destroy entire populations. Example, Joshua 6-11. But Christians today generally reject such acts as evil. Harsh punishments for minor offenses. The Bible commands stoning for adultery, Sabbath breaking, or cursing parents. Leviticus chapter 29, Deuteronomy chapter 22-21. But those laws are abandoned by Christians today. Patriarchy and silencing women. In the Bible, women were counted as dependents and restricted from leadership. Women should not speak or preach to men in church. Numbers chapter 30, 1 Corinthians 14:34. And this rule is increasingly ignored. Women are now given preaching responsibilities in churches. Death for disbelief, blasphemy, prescribed in texts like Leviticus chapter 24:16, but not practiced by Christians now. Radical anti-wealth teachings softened. Jesus' warning against riches, Matthew 19:24, are spiritualized. Most believers live comfortably. So the point is, the Bible's literal code clashes with modern law and ethics, so believers adopt while still claiming the Bible as their guide. These examples show that literal obedience to biblical morality is often impossible, and so Christians adopt, they change, reinterpreting rules to align with modern ethics, laws, and social norms. This is not unique to India. Across centuries and cultures, Christianity has absorbed local norms, war and taxation ethics, gender roles, holidays, names, even bureaucracy. In India, Christians may adopt Hindu names or navigate caste reservation realities. It's not what the Bible teaches, it is what life demands. India-specific reality, bribery around church projects. Adaptation sometimes collides with reality in ways that expose the limits of faith. In India, even church buildings expose the gap between preaching and reality. When Christians want to build a church, from land acquisition and permits to inauguration and daily operations, Christian leaders don't hesitate to bribe the officials to get their applications approved. Bribes are often unavoidable. I'm not judging them. Within this system, they cannot function otherwise. Without bribing, they cannot get their churches built. The point is, Christianity makes no practical difference here. Their God offers no special help to live a holy life under corruption. And on Inauguration Day, the pastor proclaims, God showed me in a vision that this is the land He wanted us to buy and build the church. But in reality, it is not God's vision or miracles, just plain bribery and corruption. So when Christians proudly proclaim Jesus' words, Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away, they are quoting something utterly meaningless. Heaven and earth are still here, but Jesus' words have already passed away centuries ago. If adaptation seems modern, history shows it's always been this way. Historical evidence shows that Christianity's morals keep changing. In the 1st to 3rd centuries AD, they accepted slavery and strict gender hierarchy. From 4th to 15th century, after Constantine, Christianity aligns with state power. Heresy was punishable, crusades justified, slavery tolerated. 16th to 18th centuries, Reformation revises doctrine but keeps patriarchal and obedience norms, and colonizers used the Bible to justify conquest. In the 19th to 20th centuries, abolitionism, social reform, women's education, and in many Protestant groups, ordination, literal penalties and silence rules fade. In the 21st century, widespread reinterpretation of purity codes, Sabbath strictness, OT punishments, and gender bans. Today, many Christians reinterpret old rules to fit modern society. History shows Christian morality is not fixed. It just follows the world around it. Conclusion from history. Christian morality is not fixed. It tracks the society around it. From literal obedience in the 1st century to pragmatic reinterpretation today, Christian morality has always evolved alongside society. So the takeaway is this. What does all this tell us about Christianity today? Religion is not a set of unchanging rules. It's a human enterprise constantly negotiating between ancient texts and modern life. When Christians ignore or revise biblical commands, that's not random hypocrisy. It is how the system survives. If history is any guide, Christianity 100 years from now will look very different. Its list of do's and don'ts will be completely reinterpreted once again.